Hello guys, today we are going to make a video of the Unisphere, the Earth Monument of Globe. It's located in Queens Flushing Meadows Corner Park, New York. The globe was designed by Gilmore D. Clarke as a part of his planned 1964 New York World's Fair. This is the world's largest art monument.
The Unisphere measures 140 feet, 43 meters, high and 120 feet, 37 meters, in diameter. It sits atop a 20-foot tall, 6.1 m, tripod base with over 500 steel pieces representing the countries, as well as 3 steel rings representing the first artificial satellites orbiting Earth. Around the Unisphere is a reflecting pool measuring 310 feet, 94 meters, in diameter. The base is surrounded by 48 pairs of fountainheads, which were intended to conceal the tripod supporting the globe. Clarke devised plans for the Unisphere while aboard an airplane in 1960. New York City Department of Parks and Recreation Commissioner Robert Moses, who had already rejected 2 plans for iconic structures at the 1964 fair, approved Clarke's proposal in early 1961. After further refinements, the Unisphere was constructed by American Bridge Company, a division of U.S. Steel, from March to August 1963. Over 51 million people visited the Unisphere during the World's Fair, after which it became a permanent attraction of Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. In the 1970s, the Unisphere was not maintained and became visibly dirty. It was restored in the early 1990s. The Unisphere was made a New York City designated landmark in 1995, and after another period of disrepair, it was restored in the early 2010s. Flushing Meadows, Corona Park, a former ash dump in the borough of Queens, was used for the 1939–1940 New York World's Fair. At the conclusion of the fair, it was used as a park. 3. The Flushing Meadows site was selected in 1959 for the 1964 New York World's Fair, for Gilmore David Clarke and Michael Rapuano, designers of the original World's Fair layout, were retained to tailor the original 1939 park layout for the new fair. 6. New York City Parks Commissioner Robert Moses was president of the World's Fair Corporation, which leased the park from the city until 1967, after the fair's completion. After the 1964 fair was announced, Moses wished to make a symbol that represented the fair's theme of peace through understanding, which would also have some significance or meaning for the average person. 8. The symbol would also celebrate the beginning of the space age. 9. Moses first asked designer Walter Dorwin Teague to make a theme center. Teague designed the center as a 170-foot tall inverted cone surrounded by a spiral, rising from a reflecting pool. Moses declined the proposal, calling it a cross between a part of a brake engine and a bed spring, or should I say between a Malayan taper and a window shutter. Another proposal was devised by Paul Rudolph on behalf of the Portland Cement Association. This plan called for a saucer measuring 300 feet, 91 meters, in diameter and tilted 18 degrees from the ground, with a restaurant, exhibits, educational and recreational facilities, and planetary viewing stations. 11. 12. Moses also rejected Rudolph's proposal. The idea for the Unisphere occurred in September 1960 as Clarke was doodling on an airplane from Ohio to New York. 13:14. Clarke had sketched a metal armillary on the rear of an envelope. 9:14:15. By the time he got to his office, Clarke had refined his plan into a revolving globe with rings of latitude and longitude. Clarke asked another architect working under his office, William S. Boyce, to sketch the structure. Since the method of the sculpture's revolution had not yet been determined, Boyce drew fountains to conceal the base. 13. The Unisphere was conceptually designed in aluminum with metallic mesh continents. 6:16. The globe would be tilted 23.5 degrees and would measure 160 feet, 49 meters, across. Capital cities would be represented on the globe by three sizes of lights, with larger lights for capitals deemed more important. 14. Clarke showed the plan to Moses, who approved of it. Moses announced plans for the Unisphere in February 1961. 17:18. The Unisphere would be erected at the site of the perisphere of the 1939 World's Fair, which was dismantled after the fair. 17:19. Moses commented that he never understood the perisphere and its trilon. 17:20. According to Moses, the Unisphere illustrates, symbolizes and embodies man's achievements on a shrinking globe in an expanding universe. 21. The structure was to be constructed by American Bridge Company, a division of U.S. Steel. 6:10:16. Further refinements were made by another of Clarke's architects, Peter Martecchini, who decided to place 3 columns at the globe's pedestal after playing with a rubber ball belonging to one of his sons. 13. Martecchini developed a working model for a moving platform, composed of 3 pegs, each topped by a pair of metal discs and a toothed disc with a bolt, supporting a plywood platform. 13. A model of the proposed work was unveiled in 1962. Clarke's idea underwent a further refined industrial design in stainless steel by industrial designers at Peter Muller Monk Associates. 10:23:24. Some of the original design details were controversial. Several land masses such as Cyprus and Crete had been left out of the original design, and the lights representing capital cities were criticized on the grounds that the process of selecting important capitals was subjective. 14. U.S. Steel rejected the idea of a spinning globe due to high costs, though it did retain Martecchini's idea of a 3-pointed pedestal. 13:14. In addition, the globe was reduced from 150 to 120 feet, 46 to 37 m, after Clarke talked with U.S. Steel's board chairman Roger Blau, who said the globe would only be as high as a 10-story brick building outside his office. 13. The final design was similar to the original, but the fountains were arranged differently. Construction on the Unisphere started on March 6, 1963. 26. The globe was built within 110 days, 27, and the last landmass was installed on August 13, 1963, 28. When the Unisphere was being built, Blau took credit for the structure. He did give an award to M. Legren Eiffel, whose grandfather Gustav Eiffel's company had designed and built the Eiffel Tower. 26, 29. The Unisphere was dedicated in early March 1964, 29, and the base of the Unisphere hosted a dance ball the same month, attended by 400 people. 30. U.S. Steel constructed the Unisphere for free, as compensation. The company's name was placed on marketing materials throughout the fair. The globe became the icon of the 1964 World's Fair. A special commemorative stamp issue was issued starting in April 1964, depicting fair attractions such as the Unisphere. The globe was also depicted on media and souvenirs promoting the fair. The Unisphere's popularity was also increased by the presence of fountainheads around the globe's base, which cooled down fair visitors on hot days. During the fair, dramatic lighting at night gave the effect of sunrise moving over the surface of the globe. Additionally, the capitals of nations were marked by lights. One of these lights is placed at the location of the Conowake Indian Reservation, which the Mohawk ironworkers requested to be placed there to honor their labor. Over the course of the fair, many of its 51 million visitors passed by the Unisphere. In March 1966, after the conclusion of the fair, U.S. Steel donated $100,000 to make the Unisphere a permanent attraction at Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. These funds were allocated toward a lighting system for the globe, as well as a water recirculation system for the pools. 38, 39. The park was reopened the next year following a major renovation, and the Unisphere was permanently retained as a park feature. 40. At first, the park was lightly used, and a Newsday article in 1969 reported that the fountains at the Unisphere had been turned off. 41. The globe was covered in grime by the 1970s, while the pools were shut off and tagged with graffiti. In 1978, the U.S. Open tennis tournament was moved from the West Side Tennis Club in Forest Hills to Flushing Meadows, Corona Park. Parts of the park were repaired or expanded for the tournament, including the fountains of the Unisphere, which were reactivated in 1978 for the first time in 10 years. In 1983, officials celebrated the 300th anniversary of Queen's founding at the base of the Unisphere. Fountains at the Unisphere's base were shut off in 2001 due to citywide water restrictions. They were not reactivated until early 2003, 17 months later. The pool around the globe was also drained because Mayor Michael Bloomberg had prohibited water from being used for ornamental purposes. By 2008, city officials planned to fix the pipes under the Unisphere. At the time, the fountains leaked excessively. To save money, NYC Parks only operated the fountains throughout the entire day whenever the U.S. Open was being held. 68, 69. Due to concerns by city officials that people would wade into the pools, some officials had proposed several years prior that the Unisphere be surrounded by a fence or bushes. But former Parks Commissioner Henry Stern had expressed opposition to such proposals. Local media reported in 2009 that grass had begun to grow within the steel mass representing Antarctica. NYC Parks officials suspected that bird feces and an accumulation of leaves had contributed to an environment in which seeds could germinate. The Unisphere's fountains were rededicated on August 12, 2010, after a $2 million restoration of the pumps, valves, and paintwork.